Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm MEUTHIA TISAA Janna, and I'm from Class C English Literature. I would like to read Prism about Chapter 5. Chapter 5, Psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is a set of theories and therapeutic techniques that deal in parts with the unconscious mind, and which together form a method of treatments for mental disorders. The discipline was established in the early 1890s by Austrian neurologist Sigmund Freud, who retained the term psychoanalysis for his own school of thought. Freud's work stems partly from the clinical work of Joseph Breuer and others. Psychoanalysis was later developed in different directions, mostly by students of Freud, such as Alfred Adler and his collaborator Carl Gustav Jung, as well as by new Freudian thinkers such as Eric Fromm, Karen Harney, and Harry Stock Sullivan. Psychoanalysis deal with human behavior. Psychoanalysis, also known as talk therapy, is a type of treatment based on the theories of Sigmund Freud, who is frequently called the father of psychoanalysis. Freud developed this treatment modality for patients who did not respond to the psychological or medical treatments available during his time. Freud believed that certain types of problems come from thoughts, feelings, and behaviors buried deeply in the unconscious mind. Sigmund Freud, 1973, 1973 argues that the creation of civilization has resulted in the repression of basic human instincts. He first divided the psyche into two parts, the conscious and the unconscious. The conscious is the part that relates to the external world, while the unconscious is the side of intellectual drives and repressed wishes. Psychoanalysis helps clients tap into their unconscious minds to recover repressed emotion and deep-seated, sometimes forgotten experiences. Doing so enables patients to work toward changing negative, destructive behaviors. Psychoanalysis deal with reading text. As they stated above, psychoanalysis was first introduced by an Austrian neurologist named Sigmund Freud. He used psychoanalysis in neurology as a therapy to cure mental disorders by investigating the interaction of conscious and conscious and unconscious elements in the mind. Psychoanalysis finds its way in many aspects of human life, such as in medical, social, and cultural. Also, academic aspects. Psychologists regarded psychoanalysis as merely his subjective interpretations, and there is no scientific data to support it. However, as stated above, literary scholars argued that Freud's theories are many influential. It is it is still applied to a variety of disciplines, especially literary criticism. This, the use of psychoanalysis to examine literary works is not uncommon nowadays. Psychoanalysis analyzes culture. Freud understood culture as he did dreams and symptoms as an experience of desires in conflict with one another and with society. He thought religion, art, and science could be richly rewarding, but the emphasized the culture in is the product if impulse uh, denied and denied a more directly sexual or aggressive satisfaction. Cultural analysis dan psychoanalytically extends culture, attempting to elucidate unconscious dimensions of the collective cultural psyche and of individual constituents, and seeking to understand correlations between the individual psyche and the cultural collective psyche. Someone's dream is interpreted according to psychoanalysis perspective. In Freud's psychoanalytic interpretations, dreams center of wish fulfillment. People dream about the things that they secretly wish and desire. Many of these argues might be inappropriate or shocking. So the mind disguises the hidden meaning in the manifest contents of the dream. Freud said that the interpretations of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. He means that that's because dreams are such an unconscious activity, they give an almost direct insight into the workings of the unconscious mind. Freud's psychoanalysis and Marxism the same, and how are they different? Marxism and psychoanalysis are systems which, in spite of their different materials, objects, and their different methodological approaches, partially deal with one and the same reality. There exists no social theory which can do without the inquiry into individual and the and drive dynamic conditions of collective process as there exist no research and therapy of the individual which can wholly discard, discard the social embedding and dimension of human existence. existence. The relationship between Marxism and Freudianism it is not only characterized and encumbered be encumbered by theoretical difference and convergences, but also by the concurring demands to monopolize an explanation of and the rule over man. Ideology critique is able to intervene into the struggle of the biased parties and to reach or clearer view. A philosophical reflection is finally apt to shed additional light on both systems and to relativize them from a higher point of view. Freud's psychoanalysis differ from other kinds of psychoanalysis. Freud was a believer that interpretation was corrective, the telling people why they act a certain way it was corrective. There are a lot of people with plenty of knowledge, but knowledge is not itself corrective. If you were asked by you were acting certain ways, Ruth had been frustrated by his attempts at working therapeutically with these kinds of patients. He believed that in their self-absorption, they were unable to form transferences to the analyst, a necessary precondition for analytic work. Spotnists discovered the predicable patients did indeed form analyzable transference, but they thus were necessary as opposite to object transference. In other words, the patient experienced transferences in which the analyst was viewed not as a distinct, separate person, but as an extension or mirror image of the self. I think that's enough. Thank you.